with. Oh my God.
All right. We're live. Welcome back, you guys. I'm your host, Keith, your man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and a bit of entertainment. As per usual, I will be waiting about 10 minutes or so for the rest of the squad to get in the channel. Hold on, I'm adjusting my microphone. And yeah, then we'll kick it off. Kybalion, we are 2 chapters away from finishing the book. Finally, it's taken us like a month. But yeah. Excuse the baby in the background. He super excited right now. He's going nuts right now. Baby Letters, you want to join us? Baby Letters, you want to join us? So, if you guys are here, take your shoes off, stay a while. Pack up your oregano, pour yourself a glass of wine, pick your poison, or just drink a tall glass of water, whatever floats your boat, because we will be kicking this off soon. We got a couple minutes to spare. And anything I need to take care of before we start? If you're new, subscribe to the channel. We have a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. If you're one of the old cats, thank you so much for the continued support. You guys are wonderful, amazing, and incredibly supportive. I'm glad you guys are here. What else we got? That's about it. If you guys want to support the channel, you can on Patreon. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's basically a platform for artists and creators to put their work up and be held up by the people who admire their work. So basically, you go on Patreon, Keith Garcia, and it's like a monthly sort of thing. So $1 a month. Like, hey, Keith, here's $1 a month. Thanks for doing what you're doing. Appreciate it. Or here's $2 a month. Or I'm rolling balls deep into cash, and here's $20 a month. Keep doing you. So that's what Patreon is. Or just share the work, whatever works. Like, comment, subscribe. That all works too. But yeah, what up, you guys? That being said, I don't actually have my it's 8:08. It's been my number for a couple years now. Salabi Studio, hi, how's it going? Rosie OG, nice to see you too. Hey, John Smith, what's up, man? Twice in one day, that's gotta be your record. Gotta be your record. Let me know if the music is too loud in the background, by the way, because it sounds chill for me, but it might not be chill for you guys. If you guys like the candles, you can also support me on my Etsy shop. I sell all kinds of shit on there. I distill my own essential oils, hydrosols, make my own scalp oil treatments, resin burning kits like you see here. I'll demonstrate. Some of you guys have purchased the resin burning kits. You should join me when we do the lives. So, a little demonstration. Might be too dark for you guys to see it, but I always say it smells like an 11th century Arabian palace in here whenever I light this frankincense on fire. Not much, just like a grain of rice worth. Woo! Yeah, how many minutes in are we, you guys? It's not, what, like 5 minutes in? We'll go usually like, 10, 12 minutes in, give people a chance to filter. Open the window so it doesn't get too smokes in here. Ooh, I wonder what A wrote. How you guys doing? You having a good weekend so far? You doing all the cool things? You guys doing all the cool things this weekend? It's Saturday, so that means we might get a bunch of people kicking it in the room, or we might get no people kicking it in the room. Nice and quiet. Nice and quiet weekends tend to be my favorite. As I'm getting older, they tend to be my favorite kinds of weekends. Good, my weekend's been great. What did I do this weekend? Oh, it's still only Saturday. I found a new mugwort patch. So I collected a ton of mugwort so that I can distill, get some oil for the scalp. What else did I do? Ooh, we found some hot springs up in the mountains. We had a huge fire a couple years ago, which decimated all the vegetation. And then we had a huge storm that caused a huge mudslide that killed a bunch of people. Kind of heavy, my bad. But the mudslide basically was bringing down house-sized boulders from the mountains. Literally house-sized boulders. It was crazy. They're just tumbling through the valleys and shit. Ripping up trees and they ripped up the old hot springs, which used to be like this shitty, murky ass little hot spring, and gouged out a new valley that's like twice the size. And now instead of there being one murky, kind of shitty hot spring, there's like 6 really nice, freshly carved from the mountainside hot springs that we stumbled on. So that was awesome. Took the fam up there and we got our hot spring on. Had a nice dinner last night for my girlfriend's birthday at a bougie Middle Eastern restaurant. We killed it. It's actually been a really good weekend so far. And it's only Saturday. Oh, Rosia, I'm glad that they're working for you. Yeah, someone wrote me a message earlier today saying how much she liked the Spagyric, the lucid dreaming tonic that I have. She said it tastes something awful, but she's never dreamed as vividly. And I was like, hell yeah. So I'm glad all the products are working for you guys. Pineapple juice, what's up? Nice to see you. Ooh, with the Sailor Moon icon. Scary is how many don't see much few see much. Jeremy, I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. Oh, Salabi Studio says, happy birthday, Lady of Letters.
Thank you so much.
She can probably hear you. She says, thank you so much. Cool, you guys. So what's up? Are we kicking this bad boy off or what? It's 8:15. I believe we're right at the mark. Oh, what happened? The Kybalion Index. 3 initiates. Mental gender. This one's kind of long, but we got it. Damn, this one's hella long. It's cool. Yeah, well, that's hot. Hey. My dad says, "Hi, Atlas."
Oh my god. Atlas is high.
Atlas is just squirming like crazy on the bed right now. Actually, he kind of chilled out, huh?
Yeah, he's like eating, but he's still a little squirmy.
Cool. All right, we doing this, you guys? You guys ready? Should we wait a minute longer, or are we good? Music not too loud. Lighting just right. When Man of Letters blows up, give it another year or so. It's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. And I'm balling hard. I'm just gonna have an actual saxophone guy play behind the readings. Except like my own little triplet jazz band, holding it down in the corner of the recording studio. Cool. We're kicking it off. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Atlas. Tonight we are reading from the Kybalion, written by said 3 initiates, self-proclaimed. I always get this wrong. I think like 1911. I don't know. Early 1900s. 1912, actually. Chapter 14. We're going deeper into the law of gender. This is mental gender, as in reference to masculine and feminine qualities of energy, you guys. Qualities of energy. I keep getting harassed. Harassed is slightly dramatic, but harassed by people who hop on this gender bandwagon where it's like, there's no such thing as gender. Nothing to do with that, you guys. Nothing to do, a little bit to do with that, but it's beyond that. If that's what you're saying, then you're looking at the wrong place. Like, you guys shift the perspective a little bit. It's strictly speaking qualities of energy, not man and woman. For man and woman both within themselves possess both masculine and feminine qualities. Like sometimes you're passive, that is a feminine quality. Sometimes you're active, that's a masculine quality. Nothing to do with man and woman. That's what we're diving deeper in. It's the second to last chapter. That's it. We will begin. Chapter 14, Mental Gender. Students of psychology who have followed the modern trend of thought along the lines of mental phenomena are struck by the persistence of the dual mind idea, which has manifested itself so strongly during the past 10 or 15 years, and which has given rise to a number of plausible theories regarding the nature and constitution of these two minds. The late Thomas J. Hudson attained great popularity in 1893 by advancing his well-known theory of the objective and subjective minds, which he held existed in every individual. Other writers have attracted almost equal attention by the theories regarding the conscious and subconscious minds, the voluntary and involuntary minds, the active and passive minds, etc., etc. The theories of the various writers differ from each other, but there remains the underlying principle of the duality of mind. The student of the Hermetic philosophy is tempted to smile when he reads and hears of these many new theories regarding the duality of mind, each school adhering tenacity to its own pet theories and each claiming to have discovered the truth. 1 second. I forgot to put the sock over the microphone. You see, when you don't have a filter, the gets too much air in the microphone and it sounds like shit. So, a little better. It's a $100 mic. You gotta work with it. That's why we have a sock instead of like $1,000 mic, right? What's the word? Efficiency here. Carrying on. Yada 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 yada. Just talking shit on people who think they've found the truth. The student churns back the pages of occult history, and away back in the dim beginnings of occult teachings, he finds references to the ancient Hermetic doctrine of the principle of gender on the mental plane, the manifestations of mental gender. Okay, so more specifically, we talk to the principle of gender, which says there's the two qualities of energy, right? But because we live in this holographic universe that quantum physicists describe, every law operates on every level because it's a mirror. We're, all the way up, all the way down. Different dimensions, right? Different vibrations, different frequencies of existence, but the same laws apply to each one. So basically, this chapter is going into the mental aspect of gender, not the physical, the mental aspect of gender, which is where we're getting into already left brain, right brain sort of discussions. Yada, yada, yada. This idea of mental gender may be explained in a few words to students who are familiar with the modern theories just alluded to. The masculine principle of mind corresponds to the so-called objective mind, the conscious mind, the voluntary mind, the active mind, etc. And the feminine principle of mind corresponds to the so-called subjective mind, subconscious mind, involuntary mind, passive mind, etc. Of course, the Hermetics do not agree with the many modern theories regarding the nature of the two phases of mind, nor does it admit many of the facts claimed for the two respective aspects. Some of the said theories and claims being very far-fetched and incapable of standing the test of experiment and demonstration. We point to the phases of agreement merely for the purpose of helping the student to assimilate his previously acquired knowledge with the teachings of the Hermetic philosophy. Students of Hudson will notice the statement at the beginning of his second chapter of the Law of Psychic Phenomena, that the mystic jargon of the Hermetic philosophers discloses the same general idea ad infinitum, the duality of mind. If Dr. Hudson had taken the time and trouble to decipher a little of the mystic jargon of the Hermetic philosophy, he might have received much light upon the subject of the dual mind, but then perhaps his most interesting work might not have been written. Damn! These guys are hating hard. It's like a very sophisticated way of talking shit about this guy's book because it was talking shit about the Hermetic philosophy. Saying that if he would have read the Hermetic philosophy, maybe he would have wrote his most interesting book yet. In other words, your book sucks. If you would have studied our shit, you would have written a better book. The Hermetic teachers impart their instruction regarding this subject by bidding their students examine the report of their consciousness regarding their self. The students are bidden to turn their attention inward upon the self dwelling within each. Each student is led to see that his consciousness gives him first a report of the existence of his self. The report is, I am. This, at first, seems to be the final words from the consciousness, but a little further into examination discloses the fact that this I am may be separated or split into two distinct parts or aspects, which, while working in unison and in conjunction, yet nevertheless may be separated in consciousness. While at first there seems to be only an I existing, a more careful and closer examination reveals the fact that there exists an I and a me. These mental twins differ in their characteristics and nature, and an examination of their nature and phenomena arising from the same will throw much light upon many of the problems of mental influence. Let us begin with a consideration of the me, which is usually mistaken for the I by the student, until he presses the inquiry a little further back into the recesses of consciousness. A man thinks of his self and its aspects of me as being composed of certain feelings, tastes, likes, dislikes, habits, peculiar ties, characteristics, all of which go to make up his personality, or the self, known to himself and others. He knows that these emotions and feelings change, are born and die away, are subject to the principle of rhythm, in other words, and the principle of polarity, which take him from one extreme of feeling to another. He also thinks of the me as being certain knowledge gathered together in his mind, and thus forming a part of himself. This is the me of man. What's he doing? God. But we have proceeded too hastily. The me of many men may be said to consist largely of their consciousness of the body and their physical appetites, etc. Their consciousness being largely bound up with their bodily nature. They practically live there, their body. Practically live in their body, quote unquote. Interestingly written, some men even go so far as to regard their personal apparel as a part of their me, and actually seem to consider it a part of themselves. A writer was humorously said that men consist of three parts: soul, body, and clothes. These clothes-conscious people would lose their personality if divested of their clothing by savages upon the occasion of a shipwreck. Interesting. But even many who are not so closely bound up with the idea of personal raiment stick closely to the consciousness of their bodies being their me. They cannot conceive of a self independent of the body. Their mind seems to them to be practically a something belonging to their body, which in many cases it is indeed. That's why, darling, it's incredible too. They got the jams going right now. It's Frank? It's Frank Sinatra? That's why, darling, it's incredible. That's someone so unforgettable. I lost my spot. What the hell are we talking about? Oh, we're talking about the me. So basically, it's breaking the mind down into two aspects: the me and the I, and it's defining those. So it just defined the me of the self, which basically said it's the physical part. It's our association with ourselves, as in our likes and our dislikes. The ego. There you go. That's what I was looking for. It's the ego side of ourselves. It's what individualizes us. It separates us from everyone else. Now, I'm assuming we're going to get into the I, which, assuming again, is probably going to be like the wholesome part. So, but as man rises in the scale of consciousness, he is able to disentangle his me from his idea of body, and is able to think of his body as belonging to the mental part of him. But even then, he is very apt to identify the me entirely with the mental states, feelings, etc., which he feels to exist within him. He is very apt to consider these internal states as identical with himself, instead of there being simply things produced by some part of his mentality, and existing within him, of him, and in him, but still not himself. He sees that he may change these internal states of feelings by all effort of will, and that he may produce a feeling or state of an exactly opposite nature. In the same way, and yet the same me exists. And so after a while, he is able to set aside these various mental states, emotions, feelings, habits, qualities, characteristics, and other personal mental belongings. This part's fucking gold right here, you guys. You gotta pay attention. He is able to set them aside in the not me collection of curiosities and encumbrances, as well as valuable possessions. This requires much mental concentration and power of mental analysis on the part of the student, but still the task is possible for the advanced student, and even those not so far advanced are able to see in the imagination how the process may be performed, yada, 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 etc., etc. We talked about this in the law of rhythm, which states that you have opposites, right? We'll go back a little further. You have the law of polarity, which says everything has an opposite. Then you go forward to law of rhythm. It says, okay, you have the opposites. Now you'll always swing from one pole to the other. North to south, sunset, sunrise, happy, sad. You know what I mean? Always swinging back and forth. That's the me part of the self. Again, the me part of the self, the ego self, the self we get caught up with when we think of our emotions, our circumstances, our thoughts. So think of our thoughts, our emotions, our circumstances. They're always coming and going. Our circumstance is never constant. It's always changing. Our emotions, never constant, always changing. Our thoughts, never constant, always changing. What it states clearly here, what we talked about, like I said before, is that using the will, we can sort of alter that course. We can't stop the swing of rhythm. We can't stop that swing, but we can sidestep the swing or rise above the next level to get on the next swing up, so to speak. This bass line is from a song called Float On by, I think, who sing that song? float on. Come on, come on, come on, baby. Float, float on. It's not the Temptations, but something like that. The Drifters. I think it's the Drifters. Anywho, so far what's important is to be able to recognize the side of you that isn't really you. Just you as you show up from, in this physical world. After this laying aside process has been performed, the student will find himself in conscious possession of a self which may be considered its I and me, dual aspects. The me will be felt to be a something mental in which thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings, and other mental states may be produced. It may be considered as the mental womb, as the ancients styled it, capable of generating mental offspring. It reports to the consciousness as a me, with latent powers of creation and generation of mental progeny of all sorts and kinds. Its powers of creative energy are felt to be enormous, but still it seems to be conscious that it must receive some form of energy from either its I companion or else from the other I, ere it is able to bring into being its mental creations. This consciousness brings with it a realization of an enormous capacity for mental work and creative ability. That was a mouthful. It's basically saying both sides of the mind have to work together. One receives the impulse from the other and generates, births something into creation. That's gender. Nuts and bolts. Remember how I said if you're thinking in terms of mainstream media, gender, where they say gender doesn't exist. That's this shit where we're talking about here. This is the nuts and bolts of gender. That to bring something into creation, you need a blend of both masculine and feminine qualities to come together. You need a receiving and you need a projecting. They both have information and they both have their role to play. Simple as that. Law of gender. Boom. Open and shut case, Johnson. But we'll just keep reading because it's what we do. But the student soon finds that this is not all that he finds within his inner consciousness. He finds that there exists a mental something which is able to will that the me act along certain creative lines, and which is also able to stand aside and witness the mental creation. This part of himself he is taught to call his I. He is able to rest in its consciousness at will. He finds there not a consciousness of an ability to generate and actively create, in the sense of the gradual process attendant upon mental operations, but rather a sense and consciousness of an ability to project an energy from the I to the me, a process of willing that the mental creation begin and proceed. He also finds that the I is able to stand aside and witness the operations of the me's mental creation and generation. There is this dual aspect in the mind of every person. The I represents the masculine principle of mental gender. The me represents the female principle. The I represents the aspect of being, the me, the aspect of becoming. You will notice that the principle of correspondence operates on this plane just as it does upon the great plane, which the creation of universes is performed. The two are similar in kind, although vastly different in degree. As above, so below. We're about halfway through, so I'm going to check the chat group and make sure that everything is going according to plan. Um, Pebbles, to add to that statement, I'm gonna bring my upright piano to the house. I don't play as much piano because I have a digital piano. And it just doesn't feel as good in the body to play a fucking digital piano. It's like I'm missing half of the fun. So I never play it. In other words, I never fucking play my piano. Only at rehearsal and at shows do I play my piano. But when I get my upright, my actual piano up in this bitch, oh man, I'm stoked. I'm gonna be playing the hell out of that thing, and you best believe we're gonna have all sorts of ManofLetters piano jams by Candlelight. I just got to get it over here, so it's heavy. The kit with the tower, Rocio, I thought it was restocked. It should be up there right now. Go to my Etsy and look. The tower, like what tower are you looking at? This tower, the one I burn in my videos? Because the only one I should be out of is the smallest one. But just hit me up after the video and we'll figure it out for you. All right, Rocio? I got you, though. Oh, Nat King Cole. That makes sense. All right, Campos, what up, man? Nice to see you. Tap, 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 tap. All right, you guys. We are carrying through. If you guys are new for the first time, welcome. We read stories here at ManofLetters, among other things, dissect them. The Kybalion is one of my favorite. It's the only reason why I know so much about it. So when we read other books and I'm not talking nearly as much, it's because I don't know what the fuck's going on. But this one I do. So welcome, the newbies. Take your shoes off, stay a while, pack up some oregano, pour yourself a glass of wine, get comfy. Huh. Oops, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Give me a second, you guys. Wow. Too much smoke. What's up, Deborah? Thanks for being here. Okay, continuing. We're about 55% of the way through or so. Okay, the tendency of the feminine principle is always in the direction of receiving impressions, while the tendency of the masculine principle is always in the direction of giving out or expressing. The feminine principle has much more varied field of operation than has the masculine principle. The feminine principle conducts the work of generating new thoughts, concepts, ideas, including the work of the imagination. The masculine principle contents itself with the work of the will, right? Your willpower, your will, in the will's various phases. Shit, where'd I go? Oh, and yet, without the active aid of the will of the masculine principle, the feminine principle is apt to rest content with generating mental images which are the result of impressions received from outside, instead of producing original mental creations. Holy shit, you guys. This is Really important. This is really important. I talk about this in my book. A person, a man or woman who is under his or her own volition, meaning, they are making the decisions of the goings on in their life. If you're imbalanced, for example, if you don't have a healthy masculine to give your own life direction, right? Masculine is about direction, it's about point. It's about giving information to the feminine. If your masculine's not healthy or it's not doing its job, in other words, you don't have a will, you don't have the will to form habits, you don't have the will to make the tough decisions, you don't have will or the will to break old habits or break addictions, any sort of addiction. If you don't have willpower, you will be dictated your whole life instead of dictating. If you have no willpower, it means your feminine, which is the part that receives the impulse, that does the generating for you. Think of the womb of the woman. That's where the generation's coming from. If you're not inputting the information into that feminine, someone else is. And that is the huge thing when it comes to the law of gender, or at least the mental gender. Is really making sure that your will is on point, which is your masculine. Your masculinity is tied in with your willpower. So if you think this is my opinion on it, but I'm not sure if I even know how to put that into words, actually. Yeah, I don't even put that in the words. That was a huge tangent, but we shall proceed. Now you know masculine, feminine qualities. Not about man, not about woman. Not about transsexual, bisexual, animal sexual. I'm too sexy for my shirt. It's just about qualities of energy and creating real shit, and being the creator of your own life, right? Having your own dictating instead of being dictated constantly. Unless you want to be dictated, unless you want to follow, and there's nothing wrong with following, as long as you want to follow, right? I follow a lot of times because I don't want to do shit. If I'm being lazy, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. You handle it and let me know what's going on, right? That's me following. That's not me leading. But then over here, I'm like, no, I got that. Let me fucking handle that. I'm going to make my own decisions on that from every step 1 through 10. That's all me, right? That's me leading in the case, right? It doesn't matter if you want to follow or lead. It just matters that you are making the decision that you want to follow and that you want to lead, so that so that we know what we're doing with our lives, so that we're designing our lives instead of having it be designed for us. Tangent game is strong tonight, you guys. My bad. I'll carry on. Persons who can give continued attention and thought to a subject actively employ both of the mental principles, the feminine in the work of the mental generation, and the masculine will in stimulating and energizing the creative portion of the mind. The majority of persons really employ the masculine principle but a little, and are content to live according to the thoughts and ideas instilled into the me from the I of other minds, like we just talked about. But it is not our purpose to dwell upon this phase of the subject, which may be studied from any good textbook upon psychology, with the key that we have given you regarding mental gender. The student of psychic phenomena is aware of the wonderful phenomena classified under the head of telepathy. thought transference, mental influence, suggestion, hypnotism, etc. Many have sought for an explanation of these varied phases of phenomena under the theories of the various dual mind teachers. And in a measure, they are right. For there is clearly a manifestation of two distinct phases of mental activity. But if such students will consider these dual minds in the light of the Hermetic teachings regarding vibrations and mental gender, they will see that the long sought for key is at hand. In the phenomena of telepathy, it is seen how the vibratory energy of the masculine principle is projected toward the feminine principle of another person, and the latter takes the seed thought and allows it to develop into maturity. In the same way, suggestion and hypnotism operates. The masculine principle of the person giving the suggestions directs a stream of vibratory energy or willpower toward the feminine principle of the other person, and the latter, accepting it, makes it its own and acts and thinks accordingly. An idea thus lodged in the mind of another person grows and develops, and in time is regarded as the rightful mental offspring of the individual, whereas it is in reality like the cuckoo egg placed in the sparrow's nest, where it destroys the rightful offspring and makes itself a home. Damn, that's gangster. I didn't know what cuckoos do. Do cuckoos do that? Holy shit. Cuckoos sneak into sparrow nests, put their eggs in there, and then the cuckoo hatches, kills the sparrow babies, and pretends to be a sparrow itself. Didn't know that. Anywho, the normal method is for the masculine and feminine principles in a person's mind to coordinate and act harmoniously in conjunction with each other. But unfortunately, the masculine principle in the average person is too lazy to act. The display of willpower is too slight, and the consequence is that such persons are ruled almost entirely by the minds and wills of other people, whom they allow to do their thinking and willing for them. How few original thoughts or original actions are performed by the average person. Are not the majority of persons mere shadows and echoes of others having stronger wills or minds than themselves? The trouble is that the average person dwells almost altogether in his me consciousness and does not realize that he has such a thing as an I. He is polarized in his feminine principle of mind, and the masculine principle, in which he is lodged, the will, is allowed to remain inactive and not employed. Breaking it. I'm breaking the spell right now. We're breaking the spell right now. Spell broken. The strong men and women of the world invariably manifest the masculine principle of will, and their strength depends materially upon this fact. Instead of living upon the impressions made upon their minds by others, they dominate their own minds by their will, obtaining the kind of mental images desired, and moreover dominate the minds of others likewise in the same manner. Look at the strong people, how they manage to implant their seed thoughts in the minds of the masses of the people. thus causing the latter to think thoughts in accordance with the desires and wills of the strong individuals. This is why the masses of people are such sheep-like creatures, never originating an idea of their own, nor using their own powers of mental activity. The manifestation of mental gender may be noticed all around us in everyday life. The magnetic persons are those who are able to use the masculine principle in a way of impressing their ideas upon others. The actor who makes people weep or cry as he wills is employing this principle. And so is the successful orator, statesman, preacher, writer, or other people who are before the public attention. The peculiar influence exerted by some people over others is due to the manifestation of mental gender along the vibrational lines above indicated. In this principle lies the secret of personal magnetism, personal influence, fascination, as well as the phenomena generally employed under the name of hypnotism. The student who has familiarized himself with the phenomena generally spoken of as psychic will have discovered the important part played in the said phenomena by the force which science styled suggestion, by which term is meant the process or method whereby an idea is transferred to or impressed upon the mind of another, causing the second mind to act in accordance therewith. A correct understanding of suggestion is necessary in order to intelligently comprehend the varied physical phenomena which suggestion underlies. But still more is a knowledge of vibration and mental gender necessary for the student of suggestion. For the whole principle of suggestion depends upon the principle of mental gender and vibration. It is customary for the writers and teachers of suggestion to explain that it is the objective or voluntary mind which make the mental impressions or suggestion upon the subjective or involuntary mind. But they do not describe the process or give us any analogy in nature whereby we may readily comprehend the idea. But if you will think of the matter in the light of the Hermetic teachings, you will be able to see that the energizing of the feminine principle by the vibratory energy of the masculine is in accordance to the universal laws of nature, and that the natural world affords countless analogies whereby the principle may be understood. In fact, the Hermetic teachings show that the very creation of the universe follows the same law, and that in all created manifestations upon the planes of the spiritual, the mental, and the physical, there is always in operation this principle of gender, this manifestation of the masculine and feminine principles, as above, so below. As below, so above. And more than this, when the principle of mental gender is once grasped and understood, the varied phenomena of psychology at once becomes capable of intelligent classification and study, instead of being very much in the dark. The principle works out in practice because it is based upon the immutable universal laws of life. We shall not enter into an extended discussion of or description of the varied phenomena of mental influence or psychic activity. There are many books, many of them quite good, which have been written and published on this subject of late years. The main facts stated in these various books are correct, although the several writers have attempted to explain There are many books, many of them quite good, which have been written and published on the subject of late years. The main facts stated in these various books are correct, although the several writers have attempted to explain the phenomena by various pet theories of their own. The student may acquaint himself with these matters, and by using the theory of mental gender, he will be able to bring order out of chaos of conflicting theory and teachings, and may, moreover, readily make himself a master of the subject, if he or she be so inclined. The purpose of this work is not to give an extended account of psychic phenomena, but rather to give the student a master key whereby she may unlock the many doors leading into the parts of the temple of knowledge which she may wish to explore. We feel that in this consideration of the teachings of the Kybalion, one may find an explanation which will serve to clear away many perplexing difficulties, a key that will unlock many doors. What is the use of going into detail regarding all of the many features of psychic phenomena and mental science, provided we place in the hands of the student the means whereby he acquaint himself fully regarding any phase of the subject which he may interest? With the aid of the Kybalion, one may go through any occult library anew, the old light from Egypt illuminating many dark pages. That is the purpose of this work. We do not come expounding a new philosophy, but rather furnishing the outlines of a great world-old teaching which will make clear the teachings of others, which will serve as a great reconciler of differing theories and opposing doctrines. And the crowd goes wild. Oh, oh. Thank you guys. I'll be here all week. I live here. I'm actually always here. Please, no flash photography. No autographs. I don't know what you witches are up to out there. Can't give you guys any of my personal belongings. No, but that's it, you guys. We're done. Mental gender. Debate will be one of the most important chapters in the entire book. In fact, one of the simplest, but just it's a substantial chapter, you guys. Thanks for being here. You guys made it to the end. How you feel? It's 9 o'clock. We finished that in like 40 minutes. What in the world? Oh. Catching up on you guys' comments. We got some new heads in here. Cuckoos are savage as fuck. How do you create your money spells? I don't have money spells, but the beeswax candles work for me as far as that's attention grabbers, right? Because that's all spells are. It's a way for us to focus our will, focus our intentions. That's all spells are there to do for us. The more involved you become into something, the more will you impress upon it, the easier it is manifested. So for me, when it comes to money, yellow looks like gold bars. Beeswax is gold because it makes me money. So whenever I see these are kind of like my ritual candles, my money ritual candles. Because every time they're burning, it's like, all right, stay on it. Keep that will on point. Every time I smell it, it's like, cool, stay on it. It's getting cold. Oy. But when it comes to like actual ritualistic things I do them with plants. So if I were to do a ritual spell, I would write out what you want on a piece of paper, buy a plant that go look at what the natives did. What plant did natives associate money with, or whatever makes sense to you? If you're a Norwegian, what plant do Norwegian natives use for money? Buy that plant, write that note out, plant the note with the plant, water the plant. The growth of the plant symbolizes your money. Don't kill the plant though, because you'll kill the money. But that's how I roll, because I love plants. Princess Laura, what up? Too Sweet, what up? Oceanus, what up? Art Campos asks, why do you think they're trying to confuse us with gender nowadays? I don't know. I think people are trying to confuse themselves with gender. I don't know. I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory or just like something that's always been here, and is now just voiced more because it's getting media attention. But don't quote me on this, but I've heard that there's more instances of this gender confusion now than there has been in the past. So is that, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is up with that, you guys. I guess one of you guys could Google that. Is the gender fluidity phenomena as prominent now as it has in the past? Because if it's been this way forever, but just not getting media attention, then I would say that there's nothing going on with it. It's just how it's always been, and we're just now hearing about it. I don't know. But it definitely doesn't keep me up at night. It's 12:03. Yeah, you guys are troopers. The Old Schoolian. That's a cool name. I like that. Old Schoolian. Practical application. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Is that a statement or a question? It looks like a question, but it sounds like a statement. Soulmates, twin flames. I don't know. I used to, and then I didn't recently, and now I don't know. The thing I had with I'm not familiar with the literature of twin flames. I actually have been meaning to invite someone on my channel who's like a twin flame master. We just haven't been able to coordinate dates. But if you're here watching the video, hit me up. I'm down. Where we at? Ooh, Hollow's End. Is that Harry Potter? Is that Bag's End? That's Lord of the Rings. You don't want to be too observation, Art Campos. Otherwise, you won't be participating. Actually, I take that back. You can do whatever the hell you want. I don't mean to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. Do-do-do. Whoops. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get the comments back up. That's not too much frankincense resin, is it? You sleeping? You both sleeping? That's not too much smoke, is it? The frank.
No, it's fine.
It's good. All right. Do I do meditations? Shit, my meditation game used to be strong. Lately, no. I probably haven't meditated all of 2019. I'm pretty sure I haven't meditated all of 2019, and that's like the longest I've gone without meditating since I started meditating like 9 years ago. Old schooling, you are speaking in tongue and riddle right now. I like it. I don't know what the fuck you're saying, but I like it. I like your style. Spell work. Oh, Andy T is actually another person I was meaning to do a live with. My schedule is just so chaotic that my lives are usually just like, ooh, I have some time to spare tonight. I'm going to do a live, which makes it difficult to plan lives a week and a half in advance because like band rehearsal and practice and work and shows and not wanting to do shit but watch Netflix. Those sort of things get in the way. But Andy T, no, I don't do spell work. Not the super. I mean, define a spell, right? Does it look like Hollywood type shit? No, but I do stuff with plants. Like I like to bury. Like I'll write my spell on a piece of paper, whatever I want, what my intention is, what I want to accomplish about myself or the world. Plant that shit with a plant, bury it in the dirt, and water it. And the plant is a representation of that thing. So it's like the energy I have put into the plant is now in the earth. Now I got the plant working on my behalf, living, doing its thing, making money for me. I just have to keep the plant healthy. It's a reminder of my goals. It's a reminder to keep my will on point. It's a reminder to do what I need to do to get shit done. And it's spell work, right? The plants casting shit for me because plants are living. They have their own fields of existence. So that's the type of spell shit I do because I like plants a lot. And candles, I do candle shit. A lot of superstitions, probably from baseball. Shit ton of superstitions that coincide with like making shit manifest for me. I'd be interested to do some next level spell stuff though. Go online, 12-step, toad's foot, baby tears type of thing. As long as it wasn't too dark, because some of that shit gets kind of dark, which is why I don't like the traditional sort of spell stuff. But I get as a matter of letters, I'm more on the research side of things and not so much the doing side of things. That's where I got the name for this channel. Like traditionally, a man of letters is like a researcher, somebody who like gathers information from fucking everywhere, consolidates it, and then kind of spreads the word. I just happen to be fascinated with the spiritual world and the philosophies of it, and the texts and the gadgets and the history and the knowledge and the secrets and shit. So that's that. Let's move this over so there's not so much shadow. Huh? Is that better? Fun to see his videos. I should do a video of that. Or it would be really cool. Like a time lapse. I'll do my how about if I'll implore some will to this. Do like a picture of how much is in my business account. Like how much money I have now, and then do it with the plant and plant it in water and like see how much they grow together. And if one gets sick, see if it like corresponds to the bank account. Kimichi, what up? Still speaking in riddle. Still speaking in riddle, old Schoolian. How's it going, Malika? Nice to see you. I hope I pronounced that right. Oh, Milka. Milka. I've seen an extraterrestrial base set / complex in an out-of-body state portal. Albert, I do fucking believe you. Kimchi by candlelight. That's nice. Kimchi by candlelight. All right, y'all. What's up? How you guys doing? Did you enjoy the reading? We got one chapter left. Intuition. My dreams have been crazy. Have you guys been dreaming crazy the past couple nights? My dreams have been wild, and I haven't been keeping a journal or anything. So I'm surprised they've been that on point without me having to do any work. Don't forget about meeting at the dream spot tonight, you guys. The glow-in-the-dark caves. Set him a reminder, John Smith. I always want to call you John Snow, John Smith. Yeah, I feel you on that, Andy. Been dreaming like crazy. That's funny. I had a dream. The last lucid dream I had, I was at my high school and realized I was dreaming. Little Coops. Atlas sleeping?
Yeah, he's sleeping. Sleeping good.
Space Monkey. Speak of lucid dreaming.
Music.
Atlas is probably lucid dreaming right now as we speak. Do you teach personally to gather? Is it for what? These relationships being manifested, dark or light, the purpose? Fuck. Ooh, I teach to gather. Well said. That's actually exactly who I teach. Sneaky. Well said. Manifested, dark or light. Neither dark nor light, but awareness of the two, and your role in them is more important than picking a side. The purpose, there is none. It's a blank slate. You create your own purpose. Milka, any tips on how to get answers in your dreams? Yeah, go lucid, find the closest person, and be like, hey, I need answers. I'd be like, he'll turn into a black guy, and he'll go, you've got questions? We've got answers. That's all states, Dan. Are you in good hands? Thank you, guys. Man of Letters is sponsored in part by Allstate. Are you in good hands? Thank you guys for all your insurance needs. Fire insurance, earthquake insurance, lawn gnome insurance in case those fuckers come alive at night. Have I seen a spirit? I mean, I think so. I can't prove I saw a spirit, but I saw some shit that terrified the hell out of me on Christmas Eve at my old house in Summerlin. I used to live in a town called Summerlin, which is just right next door to here. And it was dubbed the Salem of the West Coast. And there's like books on how haunted it is. It's a tiny town. It's like a fucking gorgeously beautiful beach town. Basically Santa Barbara, California. One frontage road that's really quaint and nice. But I guess some crazy shit used to go down in the days of rituals and weird satanic shit. Witchery and so stuff. The darker side of it. And there's like books and stuff. And my house was like right there. And I was alone on Christmas Eve. And it was windy as shit that night. Like, it was crazy windy that night. And my door kept catching, or I should say my roommate's door kept catching and rattling. And I thought he was in the house. I could see him in my doorway. I'm like laying in my bed, and out of my peripheral, I see him in my doorway, like standing there. I'm thinking he's like was gonna walk into my room and was texting, so we like didn't come in or something. And then he turns and walks towards his room. And I thought, I was like, Waddy, like, what up? And I called him, like, Waddy, yelled for him, Waddy. I was like, oh, that's weird. And I went downstairs to go say what up. I'm like 5-10 minutes later. And no one was in the house. Not a soul was there. Waddy was gone. I think he like flew back home or some shit like that. He was like visiting home, I think, at the time. Shit was terrifying. Super scary. I saw the dude in my periph for a couple seconds, like 2-3 seconds, and then walk back down the hallway. I don't know if that was a spirit though. That's more like a shadow. I've also seen shadow things here in the living room, but like, or in the hallway upstairs. Pretty sure it's because my sister was playing with a Ouija board, and she said some shit got thrown through her room with her and a bunch of homegirls because they were playing with the Ouija board. So it's probably all sorts of shit going up in this house. That's why I'm. Ariana's seen shadows in here. Some spooky ass shit happened last night too at like 3:15 in the morning, almost 3:30 in the morning. Needless to say, pounds of sage around my house, and I'm distilling protective herbs around the clock. So I think we're good. Sorry, I gotta catch up with you guys. I have, and most be looking at me crazy. Me either. Did it twice so far tonight. Oh damn, that reminds me. I need it. I'm taking mine right now too, you guys. I just gotta find which one was mine. There we go. Woo! And a 1, and a 2, and a 1, 2, 3. Are you alien? Yeah, Arcturian. Shout out to the fam. What up? Person told me that he thought humans are funny and confused. Humans are funny and confused some of the time. Hey, Canada! John Smith lives in Canada. I think you guys should kick it. Are you familiar with the insides of hand stroke? those boards tend to make things like that happen. Passing that one up, Schoolian. Passing that one up. I'm reading your guys' comments right now. Albert Draper, thanks for that tip. Mind awake, body asleep. Then use assertive intention to expand your head like a balloon. All right. Deemsters, art, is that what we're talking about? Spirit molecule is in the documentary. What? Milka, you saw your statues walking around your house? Well, if I was to believe that and you asked me what I think about statues, I think they're haunted as fuck. I've definitely never seen them walk around a house before. But traditionally, mythologically speaking, any object can be possessed by a spirit. I should know this. But disembodied spirits don't like to be disembodied. Why? I'm not sure. There's something that goes on with being a disembodied spirit. So they're always trying to find something to be inside of. Preferably items and things that have very low levels of consciousness. Spooky dolls, statues that fucking tiptoe around your house at night, apparently. Damn, it's just been a spooky couple of days. Y'all ask me spooky questions and shit. It's been spooky these past couple of days. I don't know why you guys are asking me these haunting questions. I'm down. I love the spooky, but I find it interesting. Especially with the nightmare I had last night. What was I? Ooh, the statues. I don't know. That's mad spooky, though. See, if I were able to astral project at will, this is the type of shit I would be doing and reporting back on. I would astral project and look at your statue, for example, and say, oh, there's a very dark ass aura coming off of this statue. This shit might be possessed. I'm going to inquire further. Hey, excuse me, statue. Wagwan, are you possessed? Are you from Africa? You want to go home? You got a boyfriend? You like Mike and Ike's? Find some cool shit out like that. Why is no one astral projecting doing cool stuff like that? But yeah, you should probably get rid of the night walking statues, though. Just my opinion. Unless you like the company. Ooh, Mike's World. Do you have a YouTube channel? That sounds familiar. I think I might have seen that. No, Milka. Spooky is not negative. I didn't mean that as a bad thing. It was just curious that a lot of spooky shit's been coming up lately. The weather here, I'm in Southern California, and it's been like low 50s and drizzling the past couple days. It's really cold wind. It's been really weird, spooky kind of weather. And then the dreams. I like it. Halloween is my favorite. We celebrate Halloween practically from October 1st until Dia de los Muertos, until like November 2nd. We're just spooking it up on all fronts. I love that shit. Sigils, conjurations, is that an effective way, or is that an I don't know what you mean by conjurations, unless you're referring to like literally conjuring a spirit. I would not recommend that shit. Would not recommend conjuring spirits to do your bidding. Sigils are great Because again, approaching this from a hermetic point of view, sigils is all about focus and attention and directed will. And we know all of those things, directed will, focus, attention, are sending out impulses, little energetic vibrational impulses towards something, towards the container. A sigil is a way for you to acutely focus on something. So they work phenomenally. Every time you see it, it reminds you of something, which triggers a whole plethora of chemical reactions in your brain that influence your thoughts, that influence your actions, influence your choices, right? So if you can constantly be triggering yourself to influence your actions and your thoughts, in that case, a sigil, then you've won the name of the game. The downside of that is, this is just a theory of mine based on some research that I've done, is that someone can actually create a sigil and give it to you so that they're kind of like tapping into, not necessarily controlling you, but sort of stealing your energy, I guess you could call it. Some of the conspiracy theorists with the triangle, is it downward or upward or sideways? One or the other. That's why Beyonce is doing that shit and Jay-Z is doing that shit. And all these people on the cover of this and the cover of that have their little hand symbols, and that's what they think they're doing. It's part of this cult that has this sigil that collects energy, and they kind of collect it from the masses at things like the Super Bowl and Coachella and all these festivals and shit. Hypothesis, not even a theory, but a hypothesis of mine. But you never know. Sigils are dope though, and they look cool as fuck. Back at it again, Michael Fan, what up? Soul of Sin. We've been having a good one tonight. You love the instrumental parts on your new music. What are you talking about? What new music? You got ManofLettersOfficial music over there? What's going on? I'm glad you love it though, whatever it is. Audrey, that might not have been a dream. You might have been outside everybody looking in. Old schooling, you sneaky little weasel, you. I see where you're going with that, picking up what you're putting down. Good luck. Reading your guys' comments, hold on. Ooh, Andy T, I just saw the Syrian. We're going to have to talk about that. Please back pocket that, Andy T, and bring that up for the live. I'm very scared of statues. Yeah, we're meeting up in Dream World tonight, you guys. That's where we're slamming the Dream Tonic. Don't take too much. Don't OD on that shit. I posted it on the. I don't know if you saw it. It's in the community post, but it has the link to that spot, the friggin' bioluminescent cave place inside of a cave in New Zealand. Oh, the reggae witchy New Orleans album. I'm so glad you liked it. It's dope. What was your favorite song from the your reggae witchy New Orleans album? That's dope. What does it mean to see a dead bird? Fuck. I don't know that you need to. Not fly anytime soon. I don't know. What kind of bird was it? What kind of bird was it? How dead was it? Did he fall down dead? Was he run over? What were you doing when you saw the dead bird? That's what I mean. It's you got to piece it together. Correspond this shit. Use a lot of correspondence to figure it out. I don't know. I don't know anything about the so-called dead bird. Could mean a number of things. You got to dig deeper. Bombify, what up? Yeah, you guys gotta check out my band's album. It's just self-titled Bombify, spelled as Soul of Sin spelled it. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's not on YouTube. One of my songs is on my Man of Letters channel, the acoustic looped version, called Ain't Got No Time. Debatably my favorite. You can see that on my YouTube channel, but the album, you guys check out the album. It's pretty fucking good. Pigeon, what's up, Jenny Pete? Ooh, is a pigeon Milka? So look up this one. What does a pigeon mean to you? Like, what is it? How do you feel about pigeons? In other words, and if you don't know how you feel about pigeons, go online and look at the symbology of pigeons and think how that ties into what's going on in your life, reoccurring thoughts, reoccurring dreams, reoccurring circumstances. Like kind of look at again all the corresponding elements of what the pigeon means and similarities to your life, I guess. Oh, yeah, the little birds. God, I fuck with the hawks a lot. I saw a crow killing a pigeon last year on a walk to the gym. Shit was savage. He like broke its wing in the middle of the street, and everyone was like, "What the fuck, crow?" And I ran to the crow, and the crow didn't even fly away. He just flew up on the tree overlooking the pigeon, just staring at the pigeon. The pigeon had one busted ass wing, and it was kind of limping to towards me on my side of the street. He was in the middle of the street. And I was just like, damn, this pigeon doesn't stand a chance. And he just hid under the car. Poor fucking guy. You know how birds are super jumpy and the heads are always moving back and forth, like jerking and yada yada yada. This bird was not like that. He was fluid, almost like a human. Because he dragged himself under the car real slow, like with his wing hanging, and then got in the middle and sort of crouched real slow, like put his head down real slow, and just stared, probably praying to whatever bird gods he has that this crow wasn't going to come down and rip his head off. I don't know whatever happened to that poor pigeon, but I can't imagine it was good. It was savage. Fucking Mother Nature was at work that day, not letting no pigeons off the hook. Oh, come on, computer. My computer's on fire right now. Come on. Nice. Greatest trick in time. Keep it Aria. Thank you too, Andy T. Promise we'll hop on a live together. Thursday, Friday. Let me know how Thursday and Friday are for you. Shoot me a text or not text. Of whatever it is called on YouTube. Comment, message. Cool. Is that it, you guys? Questions? Any more questions? Concerns? If not, that about wraps it up. As per usual, if you're new in the room, you made it to the end. Fuck yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you consider sticking around even longer. We would love to have you part of the squad. If you'd love to support the channel, you can through my Etsy shop, actually, Man of Letters Co., all one word, Man of Letters Co., and get yourself any one of these cool ass assorted goodies. Hair products, food products, lucid dreaming products, straight up fucking firelight products, resin kits. Or if you'd like to just chip into my Patreon, support me with $1 a month or something like that, Keith Garcia at Patreon, just Patreon/Keith Garcia. You can look that up. It's a link on the description, actually. If you're unfamiliar with Patreon, it's basically just a platform where creators go on there and their squad pitches money. Like, hey, here's $1 a month, keep killing it. Here's $2 a month, keep killing it. We have one chapter left of the Kybalion, and then we're done. We're gonna do after the Kybalion. We're gonna do I think and Grow Rich, because I kind of wanted to keep the spiritual flow, because Napoleon Hill was a spiritualist, but take it into a little more practical side. So I believe it's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, or Conversations with the Devil by Napoleon Hill. So definitely stick around for those. Those are going to be mad cool. Happy dreaming. See you guys in the lucid dream realm tonight. I already took my dose. All right, John Smith. Thank you, guys. See you soon, okay? See you soon.
He starts screaming at them.